The Packers rally in the fourth quarter to defeat the Bears 28-19 at Soldier Field and head into their bye week with a win. This is my gut reaction to today's game. Welcome to the Packer Mentality Podcast. My name is Patrick Corrigan and I'm your host. You can find and follow me on Twitter at Packer Mentality. My podcasts are available on YouTube, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Please check them out. And please hit the subscribe button below if you are watching on YouTube. It costs you nothing. And as always, thank you so much for joining me. We are only about 10 minutes after the game ended. I can't begin to tell you how relieved I am to talk about a win. Not just because it was against the Bears, and those wins are always great, but because the Packers showed that they haven't quit on this season, or didn't quit when they were down during this game. Although it did appear that this was going to be a lost cause for much of the game. Defensively, still a lot of issues against the run. Justin Fields, Bears quarterback, you knew he was a running quarterback. You knew that was his main weapon. Had a huge run for a TD in the first half. Went up the middle, mostly untouched. They will talk about Keyshawn Nixon kind of getting juked, but Keyshawn Nixon forced him back into the middle of the field, so I'm not going to be too hard on Keyshawn Nixon for that. Bears running back David Montgomery averaged 4.4 yards on 16 carries. We really didn't stop him. I think the Bears sort of stopped themselves during this game by throwing the ball. If they would have stuck with the run, this might have been a different ball game. But they did have 155 yards total on the ground. Packers versus the Bears passing attack had no pass rush, whether it was designed to keep Justin Fields in the pocket. It definitely didn't feel like we were forcing him to hurry at all. There were no sacks, and I don't even know if we had a quarterback hit. Didn't even really force any incompletions. He was 20 for 25 for 254 yards. So take out a couple interceptions. Really, only 3 balls hit the ground. Jaire Alexander had a tough game. He had 2 big throws against him. And I don't know why the Packers can't cover tight ends. Didn't seem to be anyone anywhere near Cole Kmet for much of the game. I think he had 6 catches. But the Packers defense seemed to get their stops mostly by turnovers. And when the game was on the line, they got the big interception by Jaire Alexander. And then a few minutes later, to seal the game, Keyshawn Nixon intercepted one. Offensively, have to give big props and recognize the offensive line. No sacks, no QB hits against Aaron Rodgers. He kept his uniform clean. Running game was also effective. 175 yards rushing. Aaron Jones was kind of in and out of the game with an injury, and A.J. Dillon carried the load. 18 carries for 93 yards. Fantastic job. And a big explosive play by Christian Watson on a little jet sweep sort of play. Went 46 yards, just showing off his blazing speed. Passing game today wasn't a great day. Allen Lazard had some big catches for first downs. Christian Watson had a huge clutch catch for a touchdown on 4th down, 14 yards. Had another clutch catch later in the game to keep a drive going. Sammy Watkins, who I've been pretty hard on, I wanted to recognize him for coming into the game and throwing a couple big blocks on running plays. Got to give him some credit. Special teams, there were no turnovers, no big mistakes. Keyshawn Nixon had mixed results, returning kickoffs, but didn't make any big mistakes. I think Randall Cobb returned the 1 punt, had a decent return on that. But the big play for the special teams, they blocked a field goal, and that turned out to be huge. Stars of the game. Offensive line, definitely. Alan Lazard being clutch, being there for Aaron Rodgers, being the guy that was open when we needed to get a first down. Christian Watson, another huge day, 2 touchdowns, bringing his total to 8 touchdowns in 4 games. Just stacking big game after big game for the rookie. A.J. Dillon carrying the load for this team. On defense, Rudy Ford. Can't say enough about this guy. Kind of a afterthought, special teams pickup. Seems to be in the right place at the right time for this team with another fumble recovery. Keyshawn Nixon, another special teams pickup, comes up with a huge interception late in the game. And Dean Lowry, who I give a hard time because he's not showing up on the stat sheet at all for the defense, he came through with the blocked field goal. So kudos to Dean. This game was a game the Packers were expected to win, and they managed to get it done. Was it perfect? No, definitely not. But we have some positives to talk about going forward. And since we now have a bye week, I'll have time to talk about some things that I wasn't able to talk about this past week. I'll be back in a couple days. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Sunday and have a great week. And go Pack Go.